Candace Owens has gone completely off the rails over the past week or so, ever since Trump got involved in the Israel and Iran conflict. And, well, now we're at a point where she's just so insane that she is just putting out bounties on people for like $10,000, okay? This whole thing is crazy. We're going to get into everything that is going on with Candace Owens right now. And really what this all boils down to at the end of the day was that she was wrong about Trump. She was saying that Trump was a warmonger, that he was starting World War III, all of this type of nonsense that we have seen from a certain group of influencers out there, and she was wrong about all of that. And yet what does she do? Instead of being humble and saying I was wrong, she is now doubling down on all of it to the point where she's just looking like a crazy person. All right, I'm not even like a hater of Candace Owens. I've made several videos in the past defending Candace Owens. I've made several videos in the past being positive about Candace Owens. In fact, I still like a lot of the things that Candace Owens has to say, but what she is doing here against Trump is just completely unfounded nonsense. Okay, it is completely ridiculous what she is saying, and that really is the crux of everything that we're talking about here today. Don't let it get memory hold that last week Candace Owens was telling service members to ruin their lives by getting dishonorably discharged for a war that didn't happen.
LG19 writes, serious question, will there be jobs or community military members can join when I get a dishonorable discharge for not contributing to delete people or my body for the interests of a certain foreign nation benefit? I love this question. I do believe that if war in Iran is on the agenda, and that appears so.
Nope, it is not.
Get dishonorably discharged. Who cares?
That is such an insane thing to say. And then she goes on and on to talk about it, how like, oh, Trump's gonna get us into a war and all this type of nonsense. It is completely ridiculous, but that is just the tip of the iceberg of the insanity that we're gonna be looking at here today. So then Candace Owens went on Piers Morgan, and this is what she said about Trump, okay? And this is all following after what happened where Trump dropped the bunker busters on the Iranian nuclear facilities. Even Russia was like, yeah, this is probably a good thing that's happening. We don't want Iran to have nuclear weapons and all of that. Now we're at a point where we are seeing the ceasefire taking place between Israel and Iran, and that was all because of Trump. Trump is making peace happen, and yet this is what Candace Owens said about Trump.
Would you support him publicly again?
So I want to be clear. I don't regret voting for Donald Trump above Kamala. I think he was the better candidate, certainly a better candidate above Joe Biden. But what I will say is that he's been a chronic disappointment. And I feel embarrassed that I told people to go vote for him because this wasn't going to happen, and it is happening.
What is happening? What is a disappointment of what is happening with the results of the Israel and Iran conflict right now? Like, it's completely ridiculous what she is saying here, but this is exactly what Candace Owens is doing. She's just doubling down more and more on all of this. So Candace Owens' pure hatred for the Jews has turned her into a stage 5 Trump deranged psychopath. Sad. And honestly, I do agree that I think a lot of this is more anti-Israel type stuff with Candace than anti-Jew, but, you know, there's definitely some blurry lines there with all of that. But with all of that aside, it is very obvious that she is suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. That is where we're at with Candace Owens.
What does he think? We're stupid? And the people online that are trying to pretend that we are the ones betraying Trump for holding him accountable to his promises that he made to us when we voted for him, when we encouraged other people to vote for him. You're pretending that we're the ones that are problematic.
And yet, what has Trump done that is out of the promises that he said? He said that there's going to be strength through peace, which is exactly, literally what we saw enacted over this past week. Trump said that he wasn't planning on getting into any new wars. We're not in a new war. So there is nothing that Trump is doing that is out of line. Trump has continued to be consistent throughout this entire thing. Trump even said that he was not looking for regime change in Iran. And yet that was another thing that people like Candace Owens was pushing. These people have lost the plot completely. And yet what it all boils down to is that they know that they lost the plot. They know that Trump made them all look like complete idiots because Trump proved them all wrong with the fear-mongering nonsense that they have been pushing over the past week, and now they look like morons, and so now they're angry at Trump because now Trump isn't getting into a war to prove that they were right. The anti-war people are now very mad that Trump isn't proving them right by getting us into a war. It is completely insane.
Let me tell you something, sweetheart. You better start capturing Donald Trump's tweets that are going out right now because they seem pretty against Donald Trump's ideas of yesteryear. That's all I'm saying.
No. No, that's not happening at all. If you're referring to the one tweet that Trump made about regime change in Iran, he was trolling, guys. He was trolling, and anybody that knows a single thing about Trump knows that he was trolling with that post. This is what Trump does. Trump is the greatest troll of all time. Anybody should know this by now.
Everything that he said, every bit of BS that he called out, calling out the neocons, the people that were on the face of the Never Trump movement, he's now aligned with all of them. Yeah, he agrees with Nikki Haley, the Lindsey Grahams. He now agrees with all of them. And we're problematic. Now we are presumably the kooks.
Yes, you are the kooks, because none of that is happening at all. Another lie that we see pushed by people like Candace Owens is that Trump is controlled by Israel. And yet literally just yesterday, Trump said that Israel and Iran don't know what the F they are doing, okay?
I'm not happy with Israel. You know, when I say, okay, now you have 12 hours, you don't go out in the first hour and just drop everything you have on them. So I'm not happy with them. I'm not happy with Iran either. But I'm really unhappy if Israel's going out this morning because of one rocket that didn't land, that was shot, perhaps by mistake, that didn't land. I'm not happy about that. You know what? We basically have two countries that have been fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
This is Trump continuing to be the same Trump that we have known for the past, almost 10 years at this point. Candace Owens has just gone so insane that she's just putting bounties out there for $10,000. This is where we're at. What she is doing here is that she is trying to play the victim about this entire thing of, oh, everybody's so mean to me. No, all we just want you to do is just admit that you were wrong about this, have a little bit of humility, and then realize that Trump is not being this fantasized version of him that you are trying to create for clicks or whatever else.
Make sure that you're clear on what we're looking for. The people have given us names and said, this is the marketing campaign that's paying for this, or this is the organization foundation that offered me money for this. But you have to present concrete proof. Like, I obviously am aware that the campaign is happening, but we need to actually see the email. So you have to submit the email that you received or the text message that you received to make a video about Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson. Again, I don't care if you already made the video. I just want to know who specifically is behind it, so we can out that person, but we will never use your name. I don't really care. It's a tough economy, so do what you got to do to make money. 10K is now the bounty for that information.
10K is now the bounty for that information. And Steven Crowder absolutely summed it all up perfectly in this video that he put out yesterday. We're talking about how Candace Owens lied to all of us. And it wasn't just her. There were many others that were out there, but Candace Owens continues to be the one that is pushing this the most aggressively.
Let me read that again. It was always about a planned war. People go, this is clearly a planned war for Israel. That's clearly what Donald Trump is doing. He's trying to get us in. Is that what you're seeing? Sounds to me like one person's in charge. And here's the thing. That's a good thing. Shouldn't we be happy about this, guys? Shouldn't we be happy that Donald Trump at a certain point had enough and said jump, and they said how high? Both sides. If it seems like I'm being harsh, it's because you were told that the people telling you the truth were fake, and the algorithm amplifies it, and it made your life worse, and it embarrassed you. The worst part is you don't even get to celebrate the win. No war.
And look, all this is not because I want to launch some sort of hate campaign against Candace Owens or anything like that. If you guys still like Candace Owens, I don't have a problem with that. I still like some of the things that Candace Owens has to say as well. But she needs to have a little bit of humility with everything that is going on and realize that she was completely 110% wrong about Trump in every way over the past week. She needs to have a little bit of humility and recognize that and admit that. And look, it's definitely not just Candace Owens. There were many other creators and influencers out there that were trying to stir up this fear that we were getting to World War III, that Trump has completely gone crazy, that he went 180 and is now a total warmonger, all of this type of nonsense. And it's all false. It's all just lies. And people jump the gun in a major way with all of that nonsense, and it was completely unnecessary. As we are now seeing with how well all this has turned out, Trump continues to show that he knows what he is doing, that he is someone who is a peacemaker in chief, and he continues to prove anybody like these individuals that try to stir up any sort of trouble whatsoever, that they are wrong once again. So, that being said, let me know what you think about all of this insanity that is going on. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in another video very soon.